Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everybody, wherever you may be or on a day. So this now Mr. Mohammed M. Shilon coming to now from North Carolina. We Honorable Lady Miss Madam Fadima gets buried in her family. So enabled there today. So, but I get a very able person where they feeling for him by the name of Mr. Mengot, where an expert by a lot of things, mainly about government and government activities. So I hope at the end of the day or at the end of the show, when I go get some more information, then when I get to when I come on board. Now, see, this will be the last show for the year 2020. Next week, we're not going to get any show. We're going to let the year roll around. So the first weekend of 2021, we'll come back. So we wish everybody Merry Christmas. We wish everybody a very happy New Year. We wish everybody the best of everything, enjoyable Christmas, best of health, long life, prosperity, all the things that we can always wish people them, where the year they roll around. So I wish everybody for day in the Christmas and New Year spirit. And so that said, Mr. Mangot, where they appear with me today, ain't go say a few things when for telling I do and all waiting in self wishuna. So, Mr. Mangot, nine that, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. And Famulem na Salone, we selling a plenty I do today. We brought it in America, Canada, Australia, England. We also selling a plenty I do. Me na Victor Mengot, always known as Victor Ako Mengot. And I don't get a lot of interest in how we government the do na Salone. And today we can't talk about boku thing where while I self Rob Motspan, then talk about who they can talk to. And so now two-way thing, because we try for learn understand what happen in the country, what thing is in ourselves can do for contribute to make Salone better for we all. So before we go, we remind people that say this now COVID is very real. The all side, we were the England, they don't lock in house, we know they come out. And we get beaucoup of people them we go Salone, or we see the loved one them. And I make sure say when I go Salone, the government don't say avoid crowd, no wear your mask, especially where you they take public transport because of the most things and the way they happen. And make sure say you keep yourself safe. And also we all go like for going to beach. But we get on a beach, you know what you do. So we pray say how in a go and the way they let God make it all live for see 2021 when a very important year for we. 2021 they make we Salone 60 years where we man left we follow who we say. And today this program we get key things that we can't talk about. Things that will happen. I can say we get one very good scenario writer. Ulysses Madrimad, we write one book. No past, no present, no future. So today now we look at things them where they happen in the past, things them where they happen now, and how we self want make what they mix this new year, thing go happen where it go better for we all. Now that's I get for say.
Okay, now we go take a look at the corona situation in Sierra Leone. Since last week, where we publish how many deaths, how many new cases, it looked like for say nothing, no change. So everything remains the same, it seems like, which means we get for do waiting we do, we make another get worse. Like our Mr. Mencott just said, we get for maintain or keep up with we mask wearing, put a mask on. We get for make sure say we keep with distances, or distances meaning for stay far away from the other person as best as you can. We know say easy for do because of your social structure. Everything involves crowding. But we hope that when I go follow it, the rules as best as possible so things don't get worse. So for we brothers and sisters, and whether they're abroad, whether they go home, whether they go see their loved ones, like how Mr. Mengot say again, they will make sure say we take into account, because the people in back home, they say that they not get a hand, although that cannot be true, but then they say that they take a good day to them. Well, they may have a point, but they will just try for be mindful of the fact that we the left here, will follow all the precautions, so we not take anything bad to the people in back home. So overall, the condition no worse as it be last week. Now 75 people in the Misedo die, the number not change, so we still remain the same. So in a nutshell, that number, nothing new no come from last week, so we could just left another way. Mr. Mango, I don't know if you get anything you want to add to that.
No, I think so. We don't cover all that in May, okay. And I think so now we'll go to this.
All right. Today,
all man for talk about.
Okay, today we program go title them, or we go call them the scorecard. We try for grade. VOS, we station the grade the Sierra Leone government for 2020 for see in all the areas or most of the areas where government get for do something, how well the government perform. So we do agree say we will cover 4 areas. We will cover human rights, we will cover education, we will cover environmental management, and we will cover poverty, bread and butter issues for about the people in the country. So each area, the human rights area, get a lot of subtext where we will cover. And the education area get a lot of other subheadings then we will cover. The environmental or management area will get a lot of other subheadings. And so the bread and butter business will evolve other things then. So with that in mind, I will pass it over to Mr. Magnot, when Mangot, when expert on governance, where we hope go open our mind and give you some new information, educate we, and give the current government some sense of direction, and let will contribute to waiting we think say we will want the government for continue doing or not for continue doing next year. So I'll pass it over to you, Mr. Mangot. Okay, Mr. Mangot, you can come on as it appear like for say you okay, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I've just tell them for say you and a government expert, so you go who want for a read from you. I don't mention the areas that we're going to be talking about on. Okay. So with that in mind, can you just give me the opener on that so we can break down the topics?
Okay, Fambulem, we hope say in all the listen, and as we been get a report and a Salone Salako Maxwell, he say, no kapu sense, no kapu word. So me brother when I would run this program, I don't talk about the 4 areas. But one thing we will do, we would all finish the main area we all entire cover na Papa government. Waiting Papa government to ask from them for we who they come next year, they say when they come, we don't make with 6th year. We with man don't left we follow rule we self. And This now for say, okay, upper government, we can't turn 60. They can say a fool at 40 is a fool forever. We don't pass 40, now it's 60. When people, somebody does 60, like we already don't pass 60, we're not grandpa there now. Not so picking now they look after again, now grandpicking them. So the reason why they do all this now for say, what do we have for left for grandpicking them? And how for plan let government look after it. So we can start now with the first topic, when are human rights. And human rights, now what do this topic important? We just read this now. Say the government don't get 400 million from the Millennium Talent Commission. And how they get that money? Just like what they can do scorecards too. Now the same way the people there where they give them the money, they get their own scorecard. When they look at governments where they do different things in them. Well, this government now don't do well. So don't give them more money. Or let them pull them, people them by poverty. Let them make life better for all man. So now that makes sure they start with this topic. And human rights, now one of the areas that where they score Salone, they don't score Salone. Yeah, we are really anti-corruption commissioner where he tell me say, well, congratulate the country. So now I look at this human rights now. Now, three things we will look at. First of all, we look at the law. Whose new law government bring or whose law government take. Then the next thing we will look at people then where the law don't bet, where they prison. How would they look after them? Boku talk non company, especially we see this year what happened at the Padebao disaster. And we not let happen again. So prisoner rights are very important thing. Then the third part, with constitution, because anything they do, with constitution, either with Bible, either with Quran, you get a right of assembly. People then forget that, for let their voice heard. We see this year we pass, we get that drop and the McKinney business, we get the drop and the Lonsar business, we get the drop and Usari, then the fishing. So now then here we want to talk about. So Mr. Salone, before we go on, I'll let you get anything for one more, not begin talk about the topic one by one.
Now, well, let me start off with the issue about the law. As a lawyer, I always believe, say, the thing where they differentiate, or where I have to be very careful with the Creole word them and the English word. I try for not for mix them. The thing where they make people, where they make a country operate or function or work better than other country, now the rule of law. The law really counts. So when we, and the law forget the way the law they get teeth, now the ability for enforce the law. For example, when a judge give an order, if the judge issue a bench warrant, now just a piece of paper. Now the way the means day by which that paper they will be handed to a law enforcement officer. That law enforcement officer they get the power for carry out which in that paper they say if or do, and that person they get the means and the backing of the government for do which in that piece of paper they tell and say if or do. Then when we get everything to work like that, then we become a country of laws and not of men. So, and every country in the world where the law is the number one of everything, that country they get a good chance for progress, for make progress, for do well for people them, for do well for the infrastructure, for do well among other countries them. So the law matters. That the law also, when we talk about law, the constitution, when the law will govern the entire country, also na law. The constitution, what they call a constitution, but constitutional law. And the law that one day where they govern with all activities. They govern the courts, they govern the parliament, they govern everything. So that is a very important thing I would like for them to cover. Because under human rights, people then forget the right to freely assemble, the right to free speech, the right from cruel and unusual punishment, the right to retain and maintain property, and on and on and on. So under human rights, we'll get forget a lot of topic we'll get for talk about. So I just want to make we know, say, when we say human rights, there is a lot of area we'll get for cover. So with that in mind, I go make Mr. Mangot do in your say para, and then anything we left behind, I go address that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. Since na 2020 we talk about, the way we go look at, we look what the government do this year. We're very important. We're going to people their mind. We campaign the law. And waiting they not do, or waiting and do where sometimes they make small mistake, or sometimes you get oversight. And now that way they will go look how good we government don't do for you. Now we start with the particular law you talk about. That freedom of expression, where it means the Constitution will get, it give people the right for letting them say something. But now we make a disclaimer, I say, freedom of expression also means you get for know what you talk. Because sometimes day you can talk something where it can defame somebody, it gives somebody bad name. And that person there, he want to take action against you. So on that side, we get one law, we don't tell that we law, whether the 1965 Act, where Daniel been come under some of, we are not be there under the Magai government before we even get to the public. Where them people they don't talk over the year, them all the year we don't pass in, and that law they can take, sets them journalists, they watch them. Because the journalists they now they talk about a lot of things. But now with social media, don't they? First time we get censorship. Now with social media, one man a journalist. So one way Papa government do. Now for pull that's where they say when you talk about somebody in a crime where they can go arrest, then journalists they lock up. Boku journalists they don't get to do that. So one for in a no say, well, this is one of the things they take for judge the government. Government tell government things. Nobody not oppose that move the way government make. Because the past government said we not make attempts for do the same thing. We're glad the way this government it can change this, it can repeal this law. And now this program, Voice of Sierra Leone, we like for talk the truth. We like for give good side. Who side think good, good. Who side bad, bad. So let's not look and say we can't for criticize government. Because we law way my brother, Mr. Mohammed make. Now constitution, the first thing we say, it says sovereignty belongs to the people. And the people in we all, me and you. And what you mean by sovereignty? Now we guarantee, now we get the rights for guarantee for rule over we and waiting them for do. So now that part is so now the first part then the way under this human rights. The second part, I'll do a quick summary. Now when we brother talk about when you go court, now court get for charge, we get boku case them. Where people in the day na prison, na Pademba Road prison, some man they 10 years, 30 days. In case no go court. Sometimes they go there, they say file no loss. Sometimes they don't they not even get to record of say he did it. And then they come out clean. We even get this Pademba Road draw, where they say government go quell riots, some people and die. And when the people die, we get too much argument about who have been die, would not die, almost people and die, all that and they so then they now part of we know how we treat people the way they crime the best. And also this government we already said this year, I mean, it talks a certain law and they we then get for decriminalized. What's they mean by decriminalization? Is certain law and they instead of a crime, like this civil offense. A lot of this relate to like traffic offenses. We get beaucoup bike rider where they get problem with the police or the authority them, then go lock them up. And they cost the government a lot of money for look after them, but also the capacity of imprisoning them. Because Pademba Road, they take more people than they're waiting the bill for. So the last part where I will talk about, before I give to my brother way, in the Maui Sabi the law good one. Now the right to assemble and make yourself be heard, which if you take roughly in a protest, we can call them protest. Some people will call them protest. And we see that they happen this year. They happen in McKinney, we have been generator business, we can see the one transfer. They happen in Lonsar, we're in an agreement between the people that were in that area and the mining company there, and their compensation within the out in the Sheba. They happen also in Tombo. When are doing this corona term, where they say government say them for reduce the number of people that they go out for go fishing and the days that they go fishing. Whether they are you end up in Drodro, the youth man them, where police get for come and the youth man themselves they retaliate. We may say them in bonds on building them. So this is not the three area them. So I over to you, Mr. Mohammed, so you can tell me more about NCR. We don't talk what I don't mention so.
Okay, let me start off with the right of prisoners. We all for agree say people that within a prison, they're extremely, extremely vulnerable. Vulnerable mean they don't get any kind of protection. They're almost like a cow will not get tail. Because government lock them up, government put them some side way, they not get freedom for go when they want to go, anywhere they want to go. So when government don't put them in that kind of a situation, now government in responsibility, and I didn't say because they're prisoners, the law or the constitution not protect them. And I didn't say the law not apply or not the work for them. Like anybody else where they out, they will not commit crime. The government for no say, when you lock somebody up, you take up a tremendous responsibility for be responsible for in feeding, for in lodging, for in safety. And waiting, we does see, or wait, like me so does see back home. And this is just a reminder. And I hope people that will take in the spirit with which we say them things here. Because this is for help the government, for improve. We're not to say the government bad, we're not to say the government terrible. But we do know, like me so, I know say, certain people now fully conscious of their role or watching at their responsibility in the position where they hold. But when a person in a prison, government get responsibility for protect them from outside forces. Because if you're in prison, I'm a man and candidate with gun and begin shoot, enough for be. And if it be, it get for be justifiable reason, because these people are defenseless. They can't run away from a bullet. They can't fight back, but God they not get instrumentality or ammunition for fight back. So it's an awesome responsibility. Because of that, we get for put at the top of the list, and then prisoners here, they get right also, even when they take them go to court. Because we know in Australia, a lot of times prisoners them, when they take them from Pademba Road or from the cell where they go to court, then they go put them in a place where they call holding cells. Then at the cell where they call the case, then they take them go inside the courtroom. They refer to themselves and they as holding cells. One Australian, as things are, sometimes they sell and they would put them people here. Not only lights not they, but bench or sit down place not they for them for sit down. And by doing that, you jeopardize their health. Because if you sit on a ground, na cold ground, it will make you catch cold. It will give you all kind of sickness. But these are people that are a human being. Back home, we can say, I'm born then too. So, me not a Christian, me not Muslim, but I do know, say, the Bible talk about sometimes society will be judged by how we look after the least among us. This is in the Bible. I know that. I cannot give you a quote. So these people are the least among we where they out there. So we authorities them for be immune, humane enough for make sure say they are well treated. And then psychologically too, we're not mental health not a big thing in our country. But when you put somebody in darkness for a prolonged or a long period of time, it affects insanity or in soberness, what we go say in a Creole. Because if they put you in a darkness for like 24, 25 hours, you go almost lost your mind. So we not to think about that. Enough fear for go put a prisoner who, by the way, we lost say the person is presumed to be innocent. So these are innocent people until proven guilty. So just because they hold you in a lockup, because when you're in a lockup, you know they come out in a lockup for different reasons. Sometimes you don't get anybody who will go bail you. Now that makes you still they hold you. Your case not come up for trial. Sometimes you not get the money for bail yourself. Now it make you then a lockup. But the law give you what they say presumption of innocence, meaning you not guilty of the crime, not just charged, they just say you do bad. But already, as soon as you're in that situation, the will system, and at the talk for with lawyer, with judges, chief justice, attorney general, they one and they, because they're not the bookman, they're not the man they will land book, and then specialty this. Then for all them words, then they dearly, presumption of innocence. These are very popular phrases in the legal process in Sierra Leone and the common law jurisdictions them. Treat people as if they're innocent, not as if they are guilty or they are presumed guilty before being proven innocence. So, but all the treatment we see in Salone, it look like for say, then they punish you before they even try you. We for stand against people then they na jail for years. So Monday, they don't hold on a Pademba Road 5-6 years. Take today not go to trial. I go hope that if the Attorney General they listen to this broadcast, to please feel sorry for them kind of people in there. And 6 years, unless he commit murder, I think he deserves to be freed without even going further. And in case they for committee, whatever, a dismissing case, I can suggest say they let the Attorney General review some of them cases then they of some of them prisoners. Then Mr. Mangot talk about where some people this law where them pass in Salone will make this public order act where we can say before Jack, as soon as you say something, they hold you, then go lock you. But normally that public order act they not to be just where you say something. If me say something against Mr. Mangot, they're not going to arrest me because if he says something against me, then police not going to arrest him. Now, the law was passed and they made the practice and purely when you say something true or not against somebody who get power, whether in politics, when a politician, when a minister, when a member of parliament. So that be a very, very, very oppressive law. And then they go arrest you, then charge you with a crime. Because you don't say something against that person, they will who can call back home a big man or a powerful person. So now, we'll get for give credit where credit is due. President Bio abolished or through Parliament, he take the lead, that law then don't nullify them, then don't abolish them. You know, that law they don't exist anymore. Since 1965, where Sir Albert passed that law day, or make Parliament pass that law day. And the whole intention behind that law day be forced oppress and suppress political opponents them. So government come and go, Pashaki come, Momo come, Jackson Smith come, my committee include leadership and leadership, all the military government in come, current President Bio come, Anes Kuruma come, they all come and go. Nobody see fit for change the law. But thank goodness, when President Bio under his own leadership now, and somehow common sense, fairness, justice prevail, he decided to say no, enough fear. for accused people them of a crime just because they say something about somebody who not true. So this now some progress we don't make, and it's a gigantic progress because, like I say, the current government falls in a class all by itself because previous government them use them for oppress others. So that's a giant step. And we decide to say this, since we say would do a scorecard on the government. This is one area in which I will give the president and parliament and in government 95%, so to speak. Now, America, I will say an A. Again, so I will give President Bio an A on that because it's a big thing. Now, but the law don't say because they abolish them, you're free for just make false statement against people. Your company can sue you. What a civil action. They not to go. Police not get anything for do with that anymore. If you say something to me when I true, when I slander, when not true, when I slander, the law still permits you in a Salone for file a lawsuit against whoever do that or publish some true and not true, and when I can go duke it out in the court. So that's what that law is about, and it's a serious law. Whether they and on the books for over 50 years, whether land a lot of people in a jail, even as recently as 1 or 2 months ago. I think one of the latest victims of that law, then somebody, people like Sylvia Blyden, you know. So it's a good thing, and I think we for clap for the government for doing that. We get for land, for give credit to people them when they do right. And then when they not do right, we'll for be able to call them out, you know. So this time we'll give the government an A. There are plenty more day for talk about this human right. But I will stop right here. Make a see if Mr. Mangot want say anything in addition to what I say.
Well, thank you very much. Legal as they say. You don't make it easy for let people to understand. But as we go on a two other area, they know more. You don't score down there, and let me say, since my scorecard, me go give the government 90%. Because I always like forget a margin of 10% error. The next area where you talk about, where I think so for look and score very much with a very important thing we talk, how they look after our prisoners. And one thing where don't happen, we are saying an improvement, whether directly from the government or not. Now, then people they will not be in prison for long term, when they're not even charged to court. At least the past government self forget credit because they've been bringing what we call legal aid board. So then people that were not able to afford justice, they will not get money for hire a lawyer. We get lawyer them, we represent them, and let us tell God thank you. Some of them, and be able to free them for let them go meet people. But the number where they're free is very small. So we still, as we say, when my brother been said this now, therefore look like how would they treat with prisoners? Would they say government say they want to build new prison? But that side where it come for how they treat prisoners, them, be holding in cell. Now serious thing, we I think say the government get for look into it. And then my brother will give the score on that. And then the final one, that rights of assembly and protest. The three cases they will look at, the government may not be in position. That makes sure they get a balanced view. In any case, they say they mean talk to the local government and mayor and everybody say they go take this generator, and then they will say that means of communication. Because the people in the McKinney say will say they will tell them they come back to me. But then the critical issue will go done. Yeah? If that may happen, why when they go take this generator, go already prepared with armed people? And they can intimidate the people. The misinformation of society is very important. So that's an issue for look at. The same with what happened in Lonsal, when I break down in communication again. between the paramount chief that place there and the community. This is a shape money business. And then the other one, when the case study we happened this year, now that fishing at Tumbu, where the government say because of restriction, people for reduce almost 10 and they go fishing. We bring drug say other things inside. So now the other two areas, and I think since we don't score the one for the right, I think so we also look at the brother self can talk now, but the other two areas we will talk about that prisoner, how would they treat with prisoner then? And also, waiting government for do, where they can say, man, they're not glad. When government want to do something, man, they're not glad. They go to treat, they go protest, something happen. We will see some side way improve, small less in Milan, and the tell way they been say, the former president for go answer to anti-corruption, where police go there and tell they meeting people and then treat, some man say so bad the whole day. But then they miss up, I can clap for the government for that because when they see what happen, the tension where they withdraw. Is that an example for us? I will get better how they improve, how they deal with the protesters. Over to you, my brother.
All right, sir. In support of what Mr. Mengot just said, talking back about prisoners, them. The thing about prisoners, them, because we don't talk about where people in go prison for petty offenses, them. So we system therefore look very carefully into that because the government, they put upon themselves a lot of responsibility where they no need for put upon themselves. In fact, the government can profit in a legitimate way by not putting people in prison, but finding people when they're legitimate, when they broke the law. For example, the Okada rider or the KK driver, if he makes some traffic violation, I take the position that no traffic violation, with the possible exception of gross negligence. Say, for example, if you begin drive motor car 100 miles an hour on a Wilkinson Road, on a Pademba Road, on a Shaka Stevens Street, knowing full well that people in the cross all the time, traffic heavy, you just grab for, and you are sane and you begin drive. So now a gross recklessness will probably then can arrest you for some, unless traffic offense in that category there. Nobody should go to prison or to jail for any sort of traffic offense. Because if you look at it, it's uncalled for, it's unnecessary. So I think maybe that's how we inherit the system. And this is the reason why sometimes our advocates say, where all we bookman in one place they land, in one system they land, they don't get diversity of ideas. So they always come up with the same idea. And I think it is in the country's best interest, whether in a constitution in the right or whether in a statute in the draw, get people them with various background. What in the happen between a Salone, everybody land book from the same area. Everybody know the same system. So we don't know, we not get comparative type of system. We not compare nothing. Now the one system we don't know now, we continue for practice. But if you look the trend in the Western world, where we the copy mostly, people will not go na jail or prison for traffic offense because it's uncalled for. But on the flip side, here the government stand for profit immensely. If somebody they in violation of city ordinance or statutory offenses, then we involve traffic. Isn't the government better off? Just like what we get in them parts of the world here, you the speed, the posted speed limit, say 45 miles an hour. You begin drive 70 miles an hour. If the police clock you, then stop you, then chase you, then wait and stop you, then they give you what you will call a ticket or a citation. with that citation, then you get two options. There's a standard fine, where somewhere around the range of $200, but I'm not saying a Salone, if it be $200, we get for take your economic status into consideration. But the government and the police can get the ability for give you a citation. That citation day, now some form of taxation, now revenue to the government. So instead of the government go lock you up, begin spending government money for feed you, the government can profit legitimately so, because you broke the law after there's a speed limit by the government benefiting. So when you think in terms of all the number of people that in the old for traffic offense who they go to jail, if these people had to pay fines, the government will come out a whole lot better. The government will increase the revenue. Some of them money that they can be applied to improving the infrastructure of the court system and all of that. So, but the reason we will not get that in place, I can tell you that, which is the reason. Everybody would make all the guys that would make the policy, they all land book the same way, the same system, under the same system, they all the things the same. So they not get no idea about other system. This is one of the dangers which Sierra Leone face. Everybody, if they draw a constitution, you get like-minded people, most of whom have never even taken a single course in constitution or in constitutional law. And then they sit down for draw up constitution. And they go tell you, say, oh, this man get a PhD from Oxford in law. That doesn't qualify him to draw up a constitution. I don't care if he get 20 PhDs. But now we don't think it nowadays. And then that man they wouldn't give that work day. And not go be humble enough for say, you know what? I get 50 PhDs, but my qualification not to any of this. But I'm glad you will give me the position. Let me hire people that when the expertise there and they will go work with me for come up with something. We're not that humble and we don't system will come up. We always want to forget the praise. We always want for act. American man can say we're not the big dog, you know. So then that mentality there now get no place in today's world because all it does is counterproductive. It don't do any good, you know. Without get people that today will struggle with the 1991 Constitution. Why? Because the people who put them together, they don't get no expertise in constitutional law. That's plain and simple. I can say that anytime, anywhere. And if anybody were a part of that, the construction of that constitution, they disagree with me, I can debate them anytime. But I know the fact. The facts are we struggle to laws them because we know they think about which thing for do. So going back to them prisoners here, we get, like I quote, well, not to quote, as I reference the Bible, we will be judged by how we treat the least among us. And you can't be less than the prisoner, you know, and so we not to treat them good. So for the big one day waiting a court, from the Chief Justice to the Attorney General to the magistrates, they they need for no say. We not for treat them people as if then as if for say then we enemy. Because remember, from the evil deeds we are benefiting too. You're not gonna be a judge, you're not gonna be Attorney General if these people didn't exist. So then say man live by man. So we get to apply some common sense. So you don't treat these people with the vengeance as if they're such despicable people in the world that you for throw the book at them, forget. But when you put somebody in a jail, when you arrest somebody, you lock them up for years. You not even try them. I don't see any cruelty way past that, you know. And unfortunately, we brothers then will get the power today. We for reality look into them chin they know they even in English we call that empathize. Then they put themselves in the place of them people here. They not even feel for them, you know. So along this civil rights, human right thing, prisoners' right is very, very important. Freedom to assemble, make a touch on that. The McKinney incident, the Tombo incident, the Lone Star incident, the Padeba Road prison incident, these things were preventable. McKinney is clear, then get the young man and they excited. We owe a duty to young people. Them. If we can't find job for them, will not get, it's wrong for we for put them in harm's way. Every young generation forget a future. We don't live before them, we eat up their future. But not only that, we try to kill them before their time. The McKinney incident could have been prevented, but it don't happen. But we know say it was avoidable. Okay, because generator, not generator, then they can't take generator. And most of the people, I guarantee you, maybe 90% of the people didn't kill. They not get electricity except for their house. But they just figure say they get a cause for go out and protest. And like how Mr. Mengott say, why will the government can they armed for shoot to kill? Who gave those orders? And why has nothing been said about that? But I hope government learn from that. I hope the people learn from that. But one of the classic examples we can give as to why people, they not for be excited and we who follow us and they listen, look at the election which just take place now, Freetown constituency 110. The First Lady impressively come, a good day, tell the people and say, in no uncertain terms, should there be any violence, people should go and vote. People are not for allowed them picking them for be misused by a politician them, by any kind of Twitter party. The First Lady said it so clearly. And then Mr. Yansane at the APC side also talk against violence. And what happened? Constituency 110, they get an election completely free of violence. Nobody was intimidated. They be telling and say, well, you vote? Not even hang around, go back. Would that win-win? This is another score where I think go for the current government, because the current government, the First Lady was out there talking. I get it, because this is a score on the government, so I want people to understand, not to form a government. So even though I give the former government, Mr. Yansane of the opposition, credit, but not to them with the score. Now, the current government with the score. So in that respect, I mean, it's a record in Sierra Leone that election take place, nobody hit no boss, nobody, the glass window no broke. So I get forgive the government 90 days. So that's another A. And last but not least, when I also, they talk to me, colleagues them, the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, all the powers to be in Sierra Leone. Please, please, please treat the prisoners better. And Mr. Attorney General, if I can prevail on you for review the current cases, them, not to only Pademba Road Prison, but the entire country, because this speaks for the whole country. Now, the same thing that they do na Bo, na Kenema, na McKinney. Let these young people be free. Even if cases where the crimes had been committed because of the length of time. In America, we go say, the government get two ways. They can dismiss the cases, or the cases can be taken to court, and these people can be given credit for time served. And that would be a wonderful Christmas gift. That would be a wonderful New Year's gift. That would be the humanitarian thing to do. So we can't be pointing finger at which people, then when it comes time for treat ourselves right, we treat ourselves the same way. If now which man be the treat ourselves, we would complain. Say, oh, na because they're racist. Okay, and somehow we seem for things, say, when we do bad to ourselves, we get the right to do that. But no, not so. We will learn this book, then book Maya will for the all them accountable. The lawyers them, the PhDs them, the ministers them, will for hold them fish to the fire. They don't learn all this book for can't do perpetuate or put evil by the people and for help people and for improve their lifestyle. So petty crimes, like somebody go thief, you thief in the market or something, or the for land you in a jail, then can arrest you, then can charge you, the government will benefit too. If you get work, and sometimes it's good for know why somebody go thief, then can't thief there. Why you go pickpocket? The man get job, He get picking, he get wealth. Society need to take all of that into account. He get mental problem. We just can't deal with results. So with lawyers, with doctors, I mean, with judges, and we need for begin for infuse or hire more social workers them for to check the background of some of we. I know if you're born and raised and grown up on body, come on. We want you to be crime free, you know, for thief, you for starve to death. I mean, we will get the power for improving people in life. We are not doing it. Who want to grow up in a pan body? Pan body person, it eats too. It go na air too. It wet too. It want clothes. It get sex. So nothing different. The only different in economics, you get past the person. So why would think say the pan body person for survive in poverty, but we way there at the top, we still the thief. So human rights is important. And first, let me just stop there for right now because I go elaborate on it again. So I don't want to dominate the conversation. So Mr. Mengot, so whatever you get for add to it, let me know.
I think for round up very, very well. Round up, I think I will give this up to your score because we're seeing a score time.
Yeah.
When it comes to the right to assembly, right? Although we get a 90% for what happened during this election, also another improvement to see now how they react again. Now the same McKinney, when they go for going to interview the president. So in terms of right of assembly, and I would say that's still work in progress. The government don't learn lesson, and we're glad for that. So for that one, I will give them 70%. Then the final one, when how it treats with prisoner, me and I will say, man, they're not glad. We get a lot of improvement for them. Government gets a lot of. But because government say they want to build new prison, them we will see the plan them for make sure they improve prisoner condition. And also we get legal aid board with the work. I would say 50-50. Sorry. Let me just put on. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay, let me just take that over while Mr. Mengo.
Yeah, I would say that in a 50-50. So when it comes to 50-50, when it comes to how we deal with prisoners, I will score the government 50%. So we'll let them go up to 70%. Because of the two reasons. Because one, they consider, say, forget a bigger prison, we're more comfortable. And two, for the support we then give the legal aid board. But one thing I go add there from what you say, apart from finding people, we know say back home we did in a town, where we grow up, we see where they take them jail man and they go clean them lockouts and get cutlass and they go clean the building. So sometimes if you say you want to find the person, you know able find you don't get the money. Let do community service. Let do things worthwhile to the country. Because one thing, repairs and maintenance of the facilities, asset management, I told them they take good care of. So then people are making serve the community by doing community service. And in doing that community service, we can do good for them when they can acquire skills. Whilst doing that community service, we will able to help them for get work so they know go pan trouble again. And then my own advice and for the government on that part of the prisoners.
Okay.
So 50%, yeah.
Go ahead.
So 50% prisoners' rights and protection.
Yeah.
That's my score.
Okay. Now, in fact, if for add to what you just said, maybe they talk in terms of people for minor traffic offenses for end of
oh yes.
Because me no one
I support you 100%.
But if they were to be arrested, they don't get money. Like you say, our system, it's about time we begin to introduce community service program where I don't know if that exists. So the person will now get money for pay And that's where the social workers then come into play, because then we make an assessment of whether this person get the ability. Because we talk about ability, not whether even if he's even employed, because if you deliberately not employed because you don't want for pay, then the system forget a way for deal with them. But he can do community service, and God knows the community need a lot of free services. But there are many ways we can deal with people then, other than just locking them up, which I think is very inhumane. That's one. The other thing is this building of prisons. Well, it's a good and bad thing. The prisons, then what we get in Sierra Leone, they are so old, they are so antiquated, they are so out of style, they are so out of everything. They are just as bad off as the place we will call law court building. Law court building at Salone is nothing to be proud of. I mean, that building is about 150, probably 200 years old. You don't get nothing modern, the law court building. So you just wonder how these people are so comfortable with that building there. We should have long ago built a very modern, convenient place. And when I say convenient, not only for judges, not only for people who work there, it will be convenient for prisoners, for defendants, for everything. Because when you build a law court, you take all of that into account. And also, now this system will be there, where you want to build a law court building, judges, wardens, prisoners, employees of the court, all then they get the input, because the all really idea matter in terms of how to facilitate things. So we don't system at the Agbagba, the normal you will call. No, if they really build a building, we go serve the purpose of justice. It is not going to only be judges where all they know is to throw people in jail or sit on the bench. They are not experts on anything else when it comes to physical structure, but they can able to add their own, you know. So that's one. Two, what would they talk about? New prison. New prison, for that reason, which I just named, because they're old, they not get no more than conveniences. If you're in a prison, I don't say the building where you do not for be air conditioned. There's no reason for that. Yeah, I mean, it should be air conditioned. Because mostly the prisons, they don't get windows. Or the cells, they don't get windows. So we have to take all of that into account in today's world. What would they talk about human rights if we could build a new prison? So me support new prison only, not because we want for increase the population. Sierra Leone set up in such a way for get more prisoners. I don't think so. Anybody who say that, then just not understand the social structure. Because a lot of them crimes here are crimes of necessity. People then get for eat. So then they become burglars, robbers, all that in a day. But if the economy is on sound footing, I don't think say people then go commit as much crime. So we don't need more prison. But I support Pandeba Road being moved from where it is, because it's so high that the location where they now. Pandeba Road outlive in usefulness. Now that location there, I think we will remove just for the aesthetic, for the looks, for the beautification of the city. It doesn't belong there anymore, and I'm sure it's overpopulated. In addition to that, and it's not a good facility both for the wardens them and for the prisoners them. So for that reason, I support new prison, but not for the reason where they come up with for just lock people them up, or for the reason that when you lock people them up, therefore be treated like human being. Therefore they're in an air conditioning facility. I know why they say these people will say, oh, nah, because I didn't talk. This is not to America. And that can just infuriate me. Whoever say we're not Africans, they're not entitled to the same kind of convenience as Europeans, Africans, Americans. So why make we think say we on people not deserve anything? You know, anything good, anything humane. So there are a lot of things that we need we'll get for change with thinking. If you want to arrest people, then take the constitutional right from them, take them freedom of movement, then freedom of expression, freedom for being with their family. Please put them in a place where and then give them visitation rights. when a family will can visit them periodically, weekly, monthly, depending on the crime where you commit. So when we talk about human rights, these are all things we need for talk. But I mean, it's a lot. I can talk about this from now till tomorrow, because these are things that I'm concerned about. And these are things, and to me, I also take the position that there are two areas in the judicial system. I'm amazed that how people become Chief Justice, Attorney General, go and come, and then they make any. These are extremely powerful positions. Position where they can make a tremendous change in the system without parliamentary involvement at all. The Chief Justice position is a very powerful position. The Attorney General position is a very powerful position. They can make a profound changes in the country just by improving the legal system. So I advocate that, please, let we take into account how we treat the people. Now, I think there is a concern about how we score the McKinney incident. I don't know, Mr. Mangot, if we don't score the McKinney incident. I thought I did, but if I didn't, I say I give them 90. But if we did not, if I not be scored, that's what I give them. And I think my analysis simply was based on the fact that it could have been prevented, but miscommunication took place. But I'm sure the government has probably learned a lesson from that, and the killings were unnecessary. I will venture to say maybe even unprovoked, because they should not have, the police or law enforcement, because now in Sierra Leone, we don't know how to distinguish police from army, which one of them are law enforcement. We know by standard that the police are law enforcement, but army man then it seems for try to enforce the law. So then because when you come armed, it seems like you come with premeditation. But all of that said, I still give the government a leeway in the sense that they'll make, I understand they are making attempts for making amends because they realize the wrong manner in which they go about that. But what do you mean they suggest in this situation there? There are mechanic killings, the prison killings, the Pademba Road killings. All them prisoners there will end up being victims. All the people that were killed in McKinney. I think the parliamentarians then try for push for some kind of compensation to their family, because I think their family deserve that. And the one that way lost their life innocently because they were just exercising their constitutional right to protest. They get killed in the process. I think that's not asking the government too much. Nor are we asking Parliament too much for compensate the family of these people.
Okay, thank you very much. I know say this is not topic we don't go on, and as you say, that's called
yeah.
I think say this is not the best time for law go now. Second topic, when education. And for introduce this, I mean, when this talk don't come, we hear where they been say Salone at the Athens of Africa, West Africa. And because now we are the country the way we first learn book by we African sister them and brother. If you remember, say we get Salone Grammar School, we're at the oldest school. We're in 1945 and they celebrate 175 years. We established the first girls secondary school, and it was memorial. We're in 1949. It's a long time where some African country not been the same and girl picking go school. And we talk about girls empowerment these days. We talk about Fobe College, the University of Sierra Leone, which was once Doha affiliated. And me, when they talk to Inayasu, I saw some of the family with the one they say, this name when I'm Mengot. Say come out. So then they can make it simple to people. They say, well, I mean, I'm major, because Sierra Leoneans the way they major. But the Mengot come out Cameroon because my papa they are the first set of Cameroonians with the late A.E. Kume, we built independent school. They can't study in Fobe College. because Fore College was the top. So if we don't reach that high, why we can't do low? One, this government will start by giving a credit because when President Biokam, they talk about free quality education. And we get that free quality education, they will look into the three aspects of the education now. One, the government has spent 22% of its budget per education, right? And one of the focus now for say, okay, let nobody not pay school fee, let nobody not buy books, then thing and they. But what about the other aspects of education? When that is infrastructure, the teacher, the supply. Then we look at the other system. When me and you go school, we get a system where we get common entrance. From common entrance, we go GCO level. From GCO level, GCA level, we get Fube College. Now we get 6334. We get Beke and Waske. So, with that system of education, we get Beke and Waske. Is the government been able to look at our education system, how we do this education? Because for me, understanding why they get Beke and Waske, because when you reach Beke, we take Beke. Earlier, before me go school, we get from 3 exams. That's how you what we call junior Cambridge.
Junior Cambridge, Cantab, yeah.
Yeah. Now this from 3 exams, now we get what I would say Beke. Either way they get Beke when I was West African thing. But for say when you don't reach junior secondary school, from when you junior secondary school, you therefore decide whether you good on the academic side, the technical side, or the vocational side. That was the whole idea behind it. But is our education system fit for purpose? That's the next we will consider. Then finally, on that education side, what we have to talk about now, now performance. Because if government don't spend a lot of money on this education, let's be fair to the government. We not go judge the success now in such a short time. But me on concern, now if you take West Africa now, Salone don't do worst. How will we go sit the Waske when I end of secondary school? Only we get 95% failure. There's something we should consider. We see where they may call the Minister of Education for go Parliament for let go explain. Right? Government on the other hand at one time say, well, perhaps they want the way they talk for government saying that because this government can they say they want wipe out corruption. Now make sure they make strict exam supervision. We want to see one thing world government, then take them teacher and parade them for 43, they put placard over there. You know, that's again not to this topic, but let's see this result we will get. And for me, the saddest part of it, you get a whole region in South the Kono side. When that same Kono they now they advocate for building university. And also this idea of just the build university turn out graduates. And these graduates fit for purpose. So if Kono now we claim to the go university, the one district, nobody not qualify under this past exam for enter into university. So this is not the opening remarks we are getting at the thing this one I think to one can discuss. First, how would they spend money per education, whether they have value for money we get, because you know just put school fee. Secondly, we touch about the support system, that is the teachers, the classrooms and equipment, and then finally the expected. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you froze for a few seconds.
Okay, yeah, I'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the things which we will look and score the government on this educational side. Over to you, from which I don't explain. Like you should go more to this talk tomorrow.
All right, sir. We all know, say, education is the utmost important topic, issue, item, call it whatever, that any country needs. Because without education, like we can say now the local way people can talk now, in we colloquial way, you ain't going nowhere without education. I mean, we know that, but we get for define, maybe redefine and define within education. Whether education are just book sense, because education important way, whatever we introduce at the schools and universities for involve practical sense, for involve common sense, for involve what we call resourcefulness. So we know say under the old system, the book sense in and of itself now we value, but it's about time we begin for take into account another component when are practical or resourcefulness, creativity. Some people, not everybody is made for classroom. Not everybody can pass exam or make good score. But the world is full of inventors and a lot of people that will not change their lives. We're not to be number one. They're not to be even clever people by school standard na school. But yet, they don't contribute immensely. And most of the privileges they enjoy today, you know, the Facebook, the Google. So some of these guys, yeah, well educated, but they're not going to tell you, say they're going to be the tops in class or this and that, or iPhone man, where even never even go college. So it's about time we begin to take a lot of things into account. But if we want to do something, let we do it right. Me don't know where then they come up with their names there, Waske, Beke, and all of that. But what to me to suggest is simple. We get start hiring and making education ministers there, qualified people, not necessarily people with PhDs. There are people whose expertise it is in education. They get degrees in the area there. They get experience in areas there. Because if you get a man with a bachelor's degree in education, a man with a master's degree in education, when I degree down there, in an area down there, he's more qualified than the person with a PhD in chemistry, physics, whatever you call it. Because that physicist, not to an area down there. So we have to be careful how these appointments are made. And we also have to think about people who are exposed, not to the degree normal. Exposure, what you've seen will make you have a vision for what you want to implement. A lot of us have lived overseas, and we know how a lot of us live overseas. Okay? You make a person minister of sports, for example. This is just a classic example. Back home, I was a soccer player. I was a good one. People who were debo between 66 and 68 may have heard about me, because both town at the high school at the secondary school soccer be the main thing. Okay, when I can I play soccer for my college. As an adult, even as a lawyer, I played soccer until because here we get league of all ages. I played soccer until I was 69. Okay, so I'm citing this. When you make somebody minister of sports, what qualifies that person to be minister of sports? Is it because he has a degree in physical education? Is it because he once played soccer? Or is it because he's exposed to a variety of sports? Is he a sport enthusiast? I would choose a sport enthusiast anytime. When I say sport, and I just say soccer. For example, in America, we get what you call sports complexes. Okay, when you go to that complex here, and get baseball field, then get basketball, then get soccer. I'm not talking about when you go to them, when you talk about 1, 2 soccer fields. By William standard now, one complex might get 4, 5 soccer fields. top-notch soccer fields. In North Carolina, where I am, in the Raleigh area, we soccer complex, because they call them soccer, and we call them football, because back home, before distinguish between that and the Naya, between that and the American soccer, and I make them rather call them soccer Naya, but we use both names so people know what you have to talk about. With soccer complex Naya, we get 38 soccer fields. It's unimaginable to the average person. 38 soccer fields, full-fledged soccer fields. When we hold tournament, there are over 600 teams where they can compete from all over the country. Then they can hire, then they start their soccer game. 8 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours allotted till 4 p.m. Then they start off with 30-something games every 2 hours. Now, is the Minister of Sports that exposed? Has he seen anything like that? Because like Minister would see something like that. I can say, well, sport and soccer are number one thing. All this is alluding to education, because this is part of education. So I can say, okay, Salone will not get that money. They will not have the cover. Sport and soccer are number one thing. Maybe we need a recreational area where we will get 5 soccer fields. Where we will get cricket field. Where we will get baseball field. Where we will get basketball. But if you don't think in those terms, you are not doing your country a favor. You are not doing your country justice, because we have to catch up with modernization. We're not too small to win Olympic medals. Not just the way we would think. Okay, so, tennis, the average tennis court, the average tennis park now, right? This area right there, you will go to one facility, then get 30 tennis courts. So 30 games being played at the same time. This is not one out of many. And this is no exaggeration. People can Google and can check and see. All right? So if you're the Minister of Sports, is tennis important for we youth them? How do we know we have a tennis star in the making if we not provide the facility? How do we know if we not expose them to the sport? Okay? So, and is it enough for put one tennis court in Africa or 2? No. When we talk about education, one of the things we're lacking that just is appalling. How can we have a modern city like Freetown? We don't have public libraries. Public libraries. It's not enough to have the British High Commission Library. It's not enough to even have one modern library for a city like Freetown. Eastern forget big library, Central forget big library, Eastern, Western forget big library. Moriton, Aberdeen, Lumley, then places in the Kisii, Waterloo, all of these places should have libraries if we're serious about education. So when will they talk about somebody, the Minister of Education, are they thinking about these kind of things or are they not? How do you want to impart good education if the teachers then get for take bribe? If the teachers then get for be bribe? What are we thinking? Pay the teachers adequately. What I mean adequately, enough money that the man or the woman go feed a family of 4 and be able to save out of. If you're not paying that much, you are doing injustice to the system. So there are a lot of creative things we can do. What we don't inherit. Technology don't improve from independence. There are some of us, if me a Minister of Education, I'm not advocating for a job now, so I don't want any misunderstanding. I just say, if I were, there are a lot of Sierra Leoneans abroad with degrees in every field, physics, chemistry, math, history, literature, who can teach kids from here, from England, from Germany, straight via Zoom, Cisco system. There are a lot of things we can do. This is what, if you are the minister, those are the things you should be aspiring to. With children then at the remote areas in Africa and Sierra Leone, they are not too far away to be reached. Not anymore. Now were they in the controlling system and booth nor they think far. So, picking and go take was scared. If the principal they don't make an assessment, say children they need tutoring, they can get tutoring from abroad. You know, in different fields. All the schools that back home, they get graduates them who have degrees in all these fields. In every country, in England, in Germany, in Canada. We all go render we only help to the best of our ability, you know? So for me, the educational system, you could see not only the cracks, you could see the lack of foresight on the part of those in charge. And again, I had a question. Just getting a PhD doesn't in and of itself qualify you for certain position. You can get a PhD from one of the best universities in the world and still unqualified for certain positions. We have to make that clear. And I think even a PhD holder will agree with me. But this is what they fly up before people them. Oh, I mean a doctor, this to that. And the other thing, I don't know about another part of the world, but this part of the world that I am, humility counts. If you know the number of congressmen and senators with PhDs and double PhDs, former astronauts, all kind of things, people, all kinds of achievement they've achieved in this world. You will never know. Because when they're in a parliament, when they're in a Congress, they're congressmen and women. When they're in the Senate, they're senator. You know? You know the area, doctor this, doctor that. We need to get rid of all the things in there, or tap it down the things in there. Let us focus where we need for focus for people picking them. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you will do, this is the way life is structured. Now the education we will give them, and then we'll take from each the century, the next century. So if they don't educate well, the only reason why we were able to do well, where the white man give independence in the first, 6-8 years, now because of the kind of foundation where the white man left give. And when we begin to ruin that foundation, this is where it has led us. So if we can lay a good foundation for beginning, then go uplift the country. Because none of we get a lease on life, none of we are going to live forever. We're fooling ourselves. So you can grab all the money you want, you can chief all the money you want. At the end of the day, you could die. And if you make the system insecure, all that money that we left, somebody go take them from you picking, then go take your host, they go take this, because you not have to create a structure where that property they for pass from generation to generation. And in the Western area where people then get that system, there are people hard at work trying to destroy that passing there. So education, going back to education, clearly the BO government, by giving the people them free, starting with free education. And this is another thing I want people to know. Because there are people and say, oh, they give trouble free education, but they're not getting this, they're not getting that. Well, I don't see the logic in that argument today. It's a start. It's like saying, well, this man is picking and nobody eat a whole day. Well, if somebody can be getting one meal a day, isn't that better than no meal a day? It's a start. So let us come up with ideas to the government. Say, for make this free education work efficiently, which anything where you implement, it get for work efficiently. There's no point coming up with ideas if it can't work efficiently. We'll therefore propose to them how these things will work. We'll therefore propose to them, say, now education is free. And I think I also had the argument that maybe more people can take the exam this term, because I think some people may get for pay certain fees, they don't have to pay because things are free and this and that. Well, that is a very selfish way of looking at things. Because I grew up in the era where if you go for a big college, as a student, then they give you stipend. I grew up in the era or the time where if you did from 6, you did up at 6, then they pay you. Okay? So me don't know what become of all that benefit that will be exist. So now, education is not what it is supposed to be in Sierra Leone. The Athens of West Africa, they'll go very down. So let us try to do the best we can. And if we have So that said, if I have to give the government a rating, I will give them a 65%.
Okay, thank you very much. I know we'll talk more because you don't say we get Bokutin for talk. And as we say with the score, I think say we're gonna start with 3 things. So we can score the government and 3 things from your explanation when we go somehow. 1, finance for education. Because like what the government don't put in place in terms of budget and commitment, in terms of where the help school picking them for waive their fee, also then the help some college. Finance, me go give them 90%. So what's in that you score?
Oh, I will give them a similar score because at least.
Okay, 90. Now the next thing come back which you talk now, innovation. Because all you talk what are you talking about innovation. Because just like what you say, the reason why we get this 6334, I remind people them back. Now for long move from that thing with man called grammarian education. We mean a grammar for go. For long get technical and vocational education. And forget technical and vocational education, we build the skills for tomorrow. Even apart from secondary school, now that makes sure we get trade centers then as well. What became of those trade centers?
Exactly.
We get one at Kisi, we get one at Kenema. Should we focus more on these trade centers than building so many universities? Every area where get university for prestige, the graduates that they come out, they are far away from the work. So for innovation, what's in a score, based on what's in me, you don't.
Well, for innovation, my score is very low. I'll have to give a failing grade because.
Okay.
With system no take into account innovation at all.
Percentage wise,
I will have to give a 50 at the most. 50.
50? I would go 40.
Okay.
Now, the final part, support system. What do you mean by support system? In terms of how we train with teachers them, what kind of facilities do we do with teacher them, how we adore with teachers them, just like what you say, right? Will lead to corruption. When government review teacher salary, listen this one. For a teacher, we don't teach for 20 years, we get a master's degree. In gross salary, is equivalent to US dollars 250 a month. That's 2.5 million. So as the British say, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. That makes so teacher get for penny and too much. That makes so then they sell paper and give picking them. Some school and one interesting thing for bring this point to 4. Even when you look at the WASCA results, you went to a government school, I suppose, in Bo. I went to the first government school in Freetown, Prince of Wales. We had the Salone Grammar School, we had CKC, with all these schools, all in 10 and everything. But if you look at the result, the top schools then in WASCA, 10 of them are names with me, Sabi, these are private schools. And these are private schools because people that will get money now, education not become a privilege. People who don't get money now, they pay for them, picking them for going to their private schools here. We get lower class size, higher paid teacher, and better systems. So in terms of support system, like what you talk to, whether at secondary school level, tertiary level, as you say, like the trade centers or university level, how much you go score the government?
There again, I think the government will have a failing grade because we've lost things we used to have, like the trade centers, the way you mentioned. You would have thought since independence we will have had more, not less, but we seem to have less. In fact, it seems like the one that will exist before disappear. So anything we inherit, we will know we'll get less of, or about the same, with devalued standard. I think that cannot be regarded as improvement. So I'll give the government a failing grade. And when I say the government, because we just graded this government, because this goes for previous governments also. Because this current government no inherit anything any better. And the sad part about it is that the vast majority of the preceding governments, immediately after independence, I think on the cabinet level, we probably had about 3 or 4 ministers, if at all, who had college degrees. I remember D.L. Sumner was one of them. I remember Michael Salone had a bachelor's degree from some college here in the United States. But you will encounter more than 4 cabinet members with degrees. Nobody had a PhD. I doubt if anybody had a master's degree. And yet, in comparison, they seem to have done much better than all these big degree holders. How did that come about? So we have qualification or high credentials have not helped us at all. So we've gone the opposite direction. And I want to make one quick observation. When I refer to myself as having gone to school in Bo, I know as soon as you say Bo, the first school that came to mind is Bo School. I did not go to Bo School. I could have gone to Bo School, but I was just too proud to go to Bo School. I went to the Ahmadiyya Secondary School in Bo. And but everybody who went to Bo, any school in Bo, UCC, CKC, Bo School, Ahmadiyya, these were all very prominent, good schools. In fact, Ahmadiyya Secondary School in Bo was the only school that had the most credentialed teachers. We had, in the days when none of the secondary schools, maybe all over the country, or barely any, had teachers with master's degree. We had masters in chemistry, masters in physics, masters in history. We had more master degree holders than any school because our teachers were Pakistanis. So we had in fact, the most qualified group of teachers. So I want people, because this is an educational process, I just want people to know it. So I take tremendous pride in having gone to the Ahmadiyya Secondary School in Bo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And as I can say, let me say for Rob much small. If you see the judge, you are right. I'm your school, we are going to a small school, Prince of Wales School. The Prince of Wales, the first government school in Africa. Who said benefits from that? We had teachers from Sri Lanka and India under the Commonwealth program. We impart knowledge on it. In fact, the time when we go Prince of Wales School, the principal was a Welshman, W. Rogers. But now left that. Again, for support system, it's not like anything education what they do. I just like make people they understand. You say we'll be the Salone, we'll be the guy report card. When end of year come, when you worst, then give it and they call NI, never to return. Then when you try up enough and say could have been done better, then there's so much you can do. So the government should do better. So this one for support system, I'll put 50%.
Well, me too. I think I'll give them 50.
Okay. Now, Famulem, we're glad you went at the camp. This one, what the camp and so on. And the third topic for tonight, what they call environment management. When I say environment, I'm not talking like your surroundings. If you take the small side, what we need a tongue, even when you get up lines, because we live on both sides. We need a tongue. Even when we need tongue, we get city council. We get people now we call Umra. When they put that thing at them back for campus Catholic in a yard. It was everybody's responsibility for letting clean the gutter. No? We will get dirty box them we be station. Where they take you dirty, you go put it out dirty there. So now how you manage your environment for keep it clean. Right? But the environment's no only for just your immediate environment, the area. We they talk about the wider space, whether in a village or you chiefdom. Two things we get in a Salone where people learn to understand. We get the customary law, we get the other law. Under the customary law, now one project, now one problem, then the way people know of much fun. Because land belongs to the people. Now make sure you apply. If you want land, you go to the chief. You understand? Now communal land system. We get a law where they say, when I wait to put and say, possibly not born that upline, because we get colony and protect it. Let me show people the who signed the colony. The colony starts from Songo, that they stop. Yeah? after Songo na Koya kingdom, when I protect it. Now the Godro get to bring this topic under this government scorecard. Now this demand for land space within that small area we call Freetown, Western area, both rural and urban. The village side, we don't hear beaucoup de Godro, but land ownership. Beaucoup of way overseas. Some man in dream now for go buy land na top. Something that if family set people go give money for buy land. When you go now, you don't work hard in them places, you go for go take your land, or the man go claim your land. And then you and a lawyer part, you go much smaller on that legal side, how we handle land in terms of land ownership and property ownership. The next thing we'll go talk about in this area, now disaster management. Beaucoup disaster that happen in our country. Forget about the physical and mental disaster like Ebola or Corona. One of the disasters where they get year in, year out are flooding, especially in Africa. Not Africa, no more in upline. There are cases of flooding. We get in season, the rain they do all side, we enable manager. The last year, remember we get that disaster in Motome or which they call them, where mudslide. And what thing caused that? We will lead you to the next topic on the environment. Now, tree planting and harvesting. This particular report we come with a auditor report. We get a lot of talk about this timber we will export. Almost the cost, almost government gets, and waiting the value to the country. So the trees, as we know, we only talk about climate change now. Now then they give out carbon dioxide, where they help for reduce pollution. Right? But also they use with tree a lot. Now how they take for billows, we need timber, even for the local. We need fence, stick them for make we fence. But more importantly, as a fuel for burn coal, for cook. So how will they manage their limited resources that God give you? Now then 3 areas then they our law talk about. Land ownership and transfer, managing disaster, or as we can say na man can't tell what we did. How you go deal with things that when a man can't tell. Also, how will they protect you bush them? You look in the Freetown now, first of all, when you go up, we never can go up there really with the color of the greens, we go pick wild mango. Now you look all them places and then I also oscillate. People and those billows 50 quarter. You know, we get this draw between the government and the city council as for order for gig rights for billows and waiting. So, my brother, now the area there, I think we will consider under this environmental management. Over to you.
All right. Now, when we talk about land ownership, land management, customary land ownership under customary law, you know, again, this goes back to history where we cannot be proud of ourselves. The white man, not to be genius, in the best of circumstances, then decide to say, and we got to remember with history. Freetown exists because historically, or Western area exists because historically, there was a return of free slaves. So all these places, prior to the return of these slaves, were native owned. They were owned by Limba, Minde. Timinis, of course, are not original tribes like the Mindes and the Limbas and the Locos, you know. Historically, this is not my idea. This is what I've read. The Timinis come through from Guinea via the southern province of Sierra Leone, end up in the north. So, but when the white people come, where the William Wilberforce, Zachary Macaulay, they would come, they were chiefs. One thing Africans have always had now, some kind of governmental structure. Okay, so it's not like everybody be just there for himself. Chiefs them be there. In fact, that may lead to part of slavery, but we're not going to get into that. But when the white people come, then philanthropists there, we figure say slavery was bad, and then give the black people an option. Would I want to stay in the Americas, Europe, as far as slavery take black people in, when I can stay. But one like I know say, when I want to go back to Africa, would offend place for one. That's how Freetown come to be named Freetown. The Europeans bought the land from the chiefs for establish a government of the people who were then living there in that area. So they not just buy, then they take away people in land. If anybody understands Freetown history, there are lots. In fact, it's so unfair. The place what would they call, we will get a place what they call Maje Town, all them places in that Kwendebu. Now be local people then they did. Nobody took their land, nobody took their land, then we get them. Waterloo, Hastings, Newton, significant amount of their land then they are owned by Limba people them. Up the mountains, region, them places in there, a lot of local people them. You know, Bathurst, you know, Gloucester, Leicester, all their places in there, they were local people. These were original people who lived there. They get the land. Nobody take the land away from them. These people own the land. Now, when we begin for land book, we begin for trick the people into stealing the land. So if I go to PA, so and so, I tell and say, I want 2 town lot, and I go school, and I get picking we go school. When I go register at the ministry, I go register 2 acres instead of 2 town lots. That's how we begin for tip the people and land small. But still, some people were smart enough for maintain family history, and this history continue up to this day. Land ownership was established by the white people. They made the open ministry of lands. They register land. But unfortunately, a lot of people did not register their land, but they were owned by the indigenous people, and some of whom became the Creoles them, who became liberated slaves, and then get the portion where the which people and buy for them. Now, moving forward, over the years, first of all, we get this ridiculous practice, which I do not understand how it still continues for ages. How does somebody own a piece of land? You can sell it to 2-3 people. That tells me the legal system not to do what it's supposed to do. The lawyers are not doing what they're supposed to do. The bar association to do what they're supposed to do. Because enough will be. If we get registration and we register land, I mean, if the land is registered under Mr. A, how Mr. B be able to sell that land not only to one person, not to even Mr. A himself, but they sell it to 2-3 people. And what makes matters worse, somebody will get no connection to the land. They're able to sell. So people are always fighting over land. Instead of for the almost 60 years, we will get independence, we will not say this is a problem. Instead of we educated people, particularly all the ministers of land, instead of them try to improve or eliminate that process, it continues to this day. Now, what has made it worse? You to get governmental intrusion into the private ownership of people and land. Government, in fact, they seem for take people and land, now the Western area, from them by trickery, by falsification of documents. I mean, I don't know how any sober-minded minister would think this is a productive and progressive approach to development. Now, if you find yourself in the position of power, you want a prime land anywhere in Sierra Leone, pay for it, buy it. These lands are owned by certain people. Don't take it because you are in a position of power. Don't falsify documents as some people are doing. There are people who are paying people in the Ministry of Lands to give false documents. And then before that, we young people in the get this thing where they call some kind of affidavit, some kind of, you just sweat some documents, go, you raise your hand. They're not subject you to any kind of scrutiny, say, oh, I'm going to get this land, and then voila, it's yours. So what is the legal profession doing about that? And if they see that people's lands are being taken away from them, the profession is called a noble profession for a reason. It's not often referred to now, like before, as the noble profession, but the nobility of the profession was because it stood for civil or civic order. It stood for fairness. The profession stood for justice. It stood for equality. America is what America is today because of the legal profession. In fact, people must have seen the wonderful job what the legal profession don't do in this country when we get a current president who don't have communal power. Every court rule against them. There are smart lawyers who took cases for free, who challenged every attempt by him. That's why that profession is called the noble profession, because when things are rough, we've always had honorable people to put their shoulders to the wheel to fight for the good of society without anything. And we used to have such lawyers in Sierra Leone. One of the most renowned lawyers I always cite, T.S. Johnson. Maybe Sierra Leonean lawyers might know very little of him, but they need to go and read about T.S. Johnson. When I was in school, that was my great, I admired the man tremendously because he had the true calling for the profession. So I urge my colleagues them again, when they see injustice that take place, it's your duty as a profession to stand up to injustice. It doesn't always have to be or suit on a convenience, but people are losing their lands by trickery, by falsehood, by falsification of documents, by extraordinary use of governmental power. I urge you to please stand against that. If you seize land as Australian, we're all Australians. You see land where you're interested in, I'm sure people always want to sell land. But under the guise of governmental power, for go and take somebody's land, and then the system is so inept, is so weak for do anything, I think it's a great disservice to the country. So for me, this land ownership and land use is of tremendous importance. And when we talk about land, I also would like for people to understand that when we talk about land, we think clearly as to some of the responsibility that the government has towards people. The government has some responsibility for people living in Bome. The government has responsibility for people living in tin houses, who call panbody. The government has responsibility for people where they sleep under bridges. The government has responsibility for people who live in a bay. Look at the lives of these people. So it's not only going after people's land, it's a matter of providing for the people, for the poor. So government get a lot for do, but I will hope that if we minister, then go focus, not the way you, and I have to point out one quick thing too. This thing about crown land, it's not the government or they accumulate land for giveaway land. And we therefore stop for things, say, the world or the generations end with one generation. By all accounts, Sierra Leone will be around another 1 million years. It's just a matter of what shape Sierra Leone will be. So if they act as if we on generation are the last, then there will be no Sierra Leone. We need to think for unborn generations. I think that's terrible. So there are a lot of things we have to take into account. The government get for land for manage, for future generations, for generations yet on board, for generations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years from now. Well, I know we're not thinking that far because we tend to think the world is done next week. But as far as I know, Sierra Leone, the country itself, the ground is going to exist another million years from now. So if we not take care of it now and structure them for unborn generations, all with the left, now confusion. Because if you don't take everything, at some point, I will find a way to get something back from you. If me not take them from you, the other side will take them. So that said, let us switch back to Mr. Egot.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed, I see, I think say, the topic here, the AB, we'll continue next year. But let's check, let's do a time check. How much time more we get now? Because we get other things that we get for government fund. And I feel to say we get forget with viewers, they listeners, them. Because most of the things that we don't talk, they affect them. Whether it is Salone or it is abroad. So I think say, I mean, with you, sister, or to the host time, the land business, we can now do the score. The only thing I'll get for add, because I divide it into 3 areas, as I say, give now scorecard they do, give due to the government, and where they talk about disaster management. Okay, the government they don't establish disaster management agency. But the only thing I will talk say on the other side, we gain a problem in our country. Now, because of them, too much agency, alone the form agency. Because when you take the environment, you get the environment ministry, you don't get disaster management ministry, you get national protected area status agency. Now we don't see forest rangers the way they go. We can get some small draw na tongue. This way kind of na tongue for can begin, as they say, encroach on people's rights. So on the one hand, government don't do something by setting this agency. On the other hand, too many overlaps. And what you can say in where area, the first thing we will get for government get for look, na chain of command. Yeah, as they say, 2 captains not they run 1 ship. You know, the same way with 2 goats, 2 and goats not they drink in 1 bucket. Because they put that bucket and 2 boats, all the water go through it. So on that side, we get for look at government for measure. The agency the way they set up, how then they work together. Then they don't work in isolation. Then the third part we will get for score. Now what we talk about with forested, what they cut stick. Yeah, we see say I'll give the government plus because we see the president, although he been playing the red carpet for go plant tree. Now we see the mayor inside they go plant tree, but then the mostly all the things we do at the western area. What about upline, the other part, they cut stick them? How will they manage with forest? How will they manage with forest? Because their forest is a livelihood. So to round up, so for score now, let's go with score before we go on to the other one. We have very important one. So when you come on land, as you talk, the legal part, ownership, exchange, how you think say the government handle it? Not only this government, as we say, but even past governments. But since that this government will look this year, this government take over, they tell we say, now new direction, and we're glad it. They also tell we say, power Salone go better. So they score now for we all glad to say how Salone go better. So waiting that you score for this land management and legal part and everything.
Well, the interesting thing about the land management, because we go for divide upline in western area.
Yeah.
The upline land management, that I think is such a fertile area, because the other day I see a video where some Chinese people in a Kalao district, they'll cut certain trees, then wait for them and close the road for quite a while. So because the area and they then still heavily forested, it will take a while for them we get some environmental impact as to, but you can tell some of the flooding will take place upline now. Because rain season not to anything new. Now part of the season that one day. The only thing new now would they get flooding, even upline also will not be to get flooding before. The only thing new would they get flooding now Freetown used for get flooding. I make them open their big levees, then will be small them in the column Bobo Combo or Bobo
Sabagota.
Yes, Sabagota, exactly. So now because now be part of the attempt done by the English people and for prevent flooding, so the water go flow to the sea. But what we can, instead of we do additional environmental research and change and look and see if we for add more samba gutters, what we do, we begin build house them over the samba gutters. We begin do crazy things where we know say is a disaster waiting to happen. So with respect to the handling of land management in the Western area, or an area where, like you say, before what will be small, then you go pick black tumbler, you go pick sugar cane, you go pick pichanga, dentin and they all them places all them plumb there, all them places and so os. Aberdeen when I'm original home. Bush not there again. Aberdeen, there is no bush. I mean, you don't get bush. I'm not talking about forest. Bush not there. No place. I mean, this was a place where be inundated by mango, coconut. You know, we began malumbo. We began all kind of. None of these things exist anymore. Na Aberdeen. Aberdeen not get one piece of land. Not even 2-3 town lot for build any house anymore. Without cut everything for build house. We not care about the environment. So land management has been very, very, very poor. It has been worse before the current government and it continues to be. And we need to take very, very careful look. We cannot just think, we need to do land management for involve land planning. Again for be city planning. Again for be country planning. Once upon a time we had Ministry of Housing and Country Planning. I don't even know if they have that anymore. But and during the time they had country planning, and then get all the New Englandville, the nice areas, you know, and at the Chenande we get the reservations, na Bo, na Kenema, trees in relation to housing. But now everything we just the cut, we plant less and less and less. So for me, I cannot give the government more than a 50% passing on land management in Sierra Leone.
Okay, that's fine. I think I would also concur with that. For disaster management, I mean, in terms of the agency, government don't improve. We try for the policy, but again, as I said, too many cooks spoil the broth, as the English say. So what we can do, I could give them 60% for thinking that now, because before, in the Office of National Security, they manage disaster. Because you self know, like, we are Office of National Security, waiting me understand, and like how we in England, we get MI5, MI6, and like how we get FBI and CIA. So they not been getting no business for dealing with disaster management. But now the government don't think wise. Although again, this disaster management agency is still there under them. Now we look at how we strengthen the Ministry of Environment. Because if we don't get Ministry of Environment, get Environmental Protection Agency. So that agency, this institution, and then in terms of disaster management, I will give them 60%. Because the 40% now for develop the chain of command, lines of communication, and forget proper policy for address the issue maybe you don't talk much.
Yeah. Well, me score will be about 55.
Okay, that's fine. 55%.
Yeah.
Okay, then the final part we'll talk about this environment management. Now, I think Danny will go on disaster. We will just combine the two and how they look after our them and tree planting. Yeah. So that again, we see say government the last government being actually stopped for level to sell timber. This government open that back, but then again, God don't come because some people they say na monopoly for this timber business. Because other people in the association of timber exporters. So the key question is, should we continue to export timber as a means of revenue, or should we use them for domestic use? Yeah, for improved building them, because we get borders in at all. The Creole kind and build borders in at all. Even upline and so then they use them a lot. So now, is it thing where we'll make money pan or tool for use for improved employment? So,
well, in fact, talking about you're so right, because them Bodos then I will hope the Minister of Development then go take into account, because Naya will refer to them as historic buildings. There are certain buildings that should be there for generations and they should just be improved. But now Bodos not in a style, and we get for modernize them. There are so many incentive government can give. People who then can host and do not get money. Government can give them life estate in their house, then they or buy them from them and improve them, build them, just do a replica. So because this is a part of history. But if we keep erasing everything which we've done with slavery, always slavery memorabilia them, unlike Senegal and Ghana, we've gotten rid of them. It's hard to believe, say this is not a country where slave trade was that important. We get total disregard for history. All bonds then say they used to get the anchor, then and they. The next don't take people and don't can take them a bond prior to go don't land now other museums them abroad. So that is just heartbreaking where you the. But me think say we get to remember there was a time when we get forest industry. Forest industry had reached a point when you buy forest industry furniture. Now one of the classiest furniture then for own, where you buy, I mean, this just imagine this was something made in Sierra Leone. But if you now man will get money, you know man with class, where you want really look like say you don't come around. Where man go to your house and see forest industry furniture and say, wow, they're impressed. We don't move from that kind of a local industry day to where we are now. Now, if we export so much in timber, why can't we reestablish a furniture industry whereby we can make ourselves a major hub for industry, for furniture buying and export, for the furniture itself, not just the timber, abroad. In North Carolina, where I am, this state is renowned for furniture manufacturing. People come from all over the world, from China, from Saudi Arabia, coming all the way down here for buy furniture. We can do the same thing back home. We can export a limited amount of furniture, but we can also try for create an industry what will lead to employment, But again, everything is connected. Once upon a time, there were trade schools who would teach people in carpentry. Even PWD, they may get carpentry departments there. Okay, so we need people, and we get fantastic carpenters. Look at the local carpenters and furniture manufacturers, the local manufacturers in Afriton, they're doing very well. And certain things they're not going to be able to do because they're not to get small loan for the business. They not get modern equipment will make them put designs of the type where they might want, and then furniture. These are all the things I think government should look into. How do you uplift these local furniture manufacturers? But I think that should be part of the way to go. We can't be exporting all these things. We have to create industries because Africa has to change. Ghana, they export cocoa, but they cannot make chocolate. We have to stop that. We have to start manufacturing things of which we get the original equipment or item or whatever. So I think, say, my suggestion would be government should really, may not say government for export. I think nothing should be monopolized. I think everything, if exporting timber should not be something people can forbid for. You just get for say you get a requisite capital and pay the appropriate taxes, and they should allow you to export. But there should be limitations. So in my own position and as far as I don't think we manage we timber or we woods them well enough because there is a lot of waste.
So score on that?
The score on that is 50%.
Okay, I would replicate that. Yes, now let's do a time check. Almost 10 more we get, because now we get with the group and the how much more time we get now?
Well, we are approaching about 10 minutes to go to the two-hour deadline, but we can go beyond as long as we meet the threshold, 1 or 2 hours. But we can.
Okay, now I think what we can do now, log up and the main thing when we call them bread and butter or yayam business.
Yes.
After that, I think we will get for interact now, see what two people in the talk, because we're not just the talk no more. We will let them say inside, because it's a non-business. All man can help for make the government better. And what you know how they say so? This not a person who want to criticize government. We don't be objective in review, and we don't take into consideration what's in the inherit. And so for the people then again, viewers, Voice of Sierra Leone, we look and say we not objective analysis we do, we give suggestions to government and to people them, and also we teach people about history. Some of the generation where they listen to this program, they don't know about it here what they talk about. I remember when they talk about education. Me say go school way from 6, they pay me. They pay me for good school education. We don't talk about. So for bread and butter business now, Lord put a lot of people there, because now they deal with the two political parties. Because they know who we for long. We get the APC, we get the SLPP. Before this government can have power, when election they can have lots of propaganda. Yeah, where people they sing. So long no go sit there angry boku. People they say angry boku. Now this government don't can we say win a new direction. Yeah. Then we already the new one where they come. The gun drive. Even the PASF and the Mami they win at the first one. They said don't use that time. They must have the gun drive for me. The gun drive. How for make this gun soak? We also make sure we are the minister for corporate business, AJ Safa. Now himself talk him. Say it will take time for let things change in our country. So they talk about the gun dry and this bread and butter business. The first thing I think we will get for talk about when the government enforce the food security. Because it's very important. And let us put them back in history. Because I'm a transport man. I like for talking within the domain as transport. In the days where we get trained on the road, we get places like Awia, Rotifunk, Blama. You remember we get food where they can't down by train. They can't of course. We produce. Me go school where they study in a school. Sierra Leone will be the export rice. Now with the import rice. Although this government can now say, well, let all ministers go plant rice. So we are one unique country in Africa, because I don't work in a Boku African country. Salone, the only people they want to say it eat rice for breakfast, eat rice for lunch, eat rice for dinner. We get a place like Walla, now make sure we get Walla rice. So how will they manage that program there for feed ourselves? Some of we grow up in the street, some will get backyard. Me work I work in a lunga, I get garden where they plant cassava, I plant potato, So, that basic food stuff here, waiting doing at the problem way, not they produce enough, and then on one side, and this bread and butter business. The second side we will talk, now how shall they do business? Because most of the business that dollar they in. Before this government kind of power, if I remember, the dollar we all know, the almighty dollar, was around 7,500 to 8,000. Now with the top dollar, they reach 11,000. Waiting at the problem. And we were overseas, we get more pressure. Because again, the money they send for people left, all that and they circulate within the economy, because it's a matter of demand and supply. So if more dollar than they within the economy, the price of dollar not go rise. We get them dollar boys then they. So this COVID, this 1 year where they we not able to send money. because either some man lost work or unable work or go do thing. So then they contribute to the problem we get. So then the third part of this bread and butter business, now what we call the businessman and businesswoman. Because the businessman and the businesswoman then, they need the same dollar they will talk about. And they need for import them goods. The government say then tariffs they don't go up. Where for other things they're expensive. So if you have that thing because of increased tariff, it will reflect to the retailer. Then the one where they sell small, the one take to the final market. And the interesting thing now, you go sell for a 110 ago, somebody go buy Obi. Now you say, hey, boy, how this so greedy? So you say, mommy, you know, not say dollar price don't go up. So how dollar price for affect Obi? So these are the two they talk about, the support for the business people. Because even the small business people, when they now, so man not to all man government work. Waiting government for do for create that environment, say business go thrive. From that way, in a tongue there, from when they plant their salad and time na Leicester, I make sure that markets na fish street to get salad grown. Then people in the way they sell all that till the day. Waiting at the opportunity for let we improve them. So over to you, Namio, overview that they don't give and this bread and butter business.
Well, the bread and butter business, who people and for know, say we not to a country of industries, the little or few industries in will be get, we don't play around, we don't lose them. So we know unemployment is on the rise. And if you think Freetown is bad, some of the small towns then, particularly a place like Upper Bambara Chiefdom, Kalao district, where I lived and grew up, you go find it for, say, jobs not there. Nobody goes to work in the morning, everybody heads to the farm. And the type of farming was what you call subsistence farming, not to any serious farming, now for antomot farming. So the same thing was, I don't know if they recall recently when there was a protest by some market people there, about a week or two ago, where they show up in the Freetown mayor in Os, because some order come from, I think they get the phrase order from above, saying that the markets people are not for sale in certain places in Christmas, the kind, and the only way and the means of livelihood, and so the people take on the streets, then begin protest, then take to the street and begin protest. So the bread and butter issue is very, very, very important because the local industries, the way people they'll use. If government want to regulate their industries, then you get to think widely and you get for wisely, you get to think constructively, and you get to think deeply. Because if somebody in a petty trader, yeah, we all want to see beautification of Freetown or the cities. Because when maybe they grow up, I born at 25 Campbell Street, Freetown, mostly Western areas, almost everywhere in the Western area was residential, every side residential. You hardly see that to be in markets, you know, but now everywhere, that commercial center. I couldn't believe Campbell Street, from PWD all the way to St. John, both sides of the street, particularly on the other side, where you have more land because you get water on the other side. They're all businesses, and all kinds of business. So you can't even tell. So these are the things, because people then get for survive. This bread and butter thing, man get for survive, you can't starve to death. So everybody they sell something, they make the market, they this and that. But government in duty for look at the reality of the situation and improve the people and system. I mean, the ability for earn. If we can provide more industries for who will employ people, and just one step back, just like Mr. Mengot say, when we begin open all the universities here, first of all, I just cannot see the purpose of opening universities left and right, because you try to educate people. Because we see the problem now in Sierra Leone. People when they finish high school, job, when I for go college, they don't get job. People when they finish from big college, they don't get job. Man, they get degree in geology, they go begin teaching in high school. When not to that, they go college for. So aren't we seeing that? Why are we following that trend there for begin for open universities? Unless there is some thing where like me not see, but we need for hold off on the university opening, because there will be substandard academic institutions there, because the economy not there for sustain them. You know, we get it, because if the school way for feed the universities they are not well equipped, the students them not well informed. Now mediocre students they wanna go turn out, and we wanna turn out mediocre students them. I mean, it's a chain reaction. Now then, them mediocre students there, now they go be the chief justices, the attorneys general, the ministers. Now they go be the everything. So now mediocre returns we go get. So it's in our best interest that we try for improve our educational institution. Let us not take a narrow view. Oh, I want University of McKinney. I want University of Kono. I want University of Bo. I want University of Kailao. You know, there was a reason why many years before me left Sierra Leone, why schools, they never get proliferation of schools in Sierra Leone, particularly upcountry. For many, many years, the entire Eastern Province, almost throughout the 1960s, now one secondary school number you get, and I became a secondary school. I don't even think they may get a girls' secondary school. And now the Southern Province, there were only two, Hartford and QRS for girls. And for a long time, now four school. In fact, for a long time, now three, UCC, Bo School, CKC. Then in the early 1960s, Amadea, I can't join them, open school. So for a long time, you only have four secondary schools at the Southern Province. No, you will get Kohima. I'm sorry. You will get Kohima. Before they even put you on, they begin open. So everything took time. And the reason why schools were so difficult for open, because the requirement for getting schools, and they were stringent, they were serious. So all the schools, when they open, a lot of them begin to turn out good students because they were getting good materials. So if we want to open universities, I have nothing against it, but I will be sure that the source from which we try to get the student who are attending universities here, these sources are very much to the level that they will produce good students. Because at the end of the day, at the end result, it's like farming. If you not get good seeds, you not go harvest good crop. Even if the crop grow, it go lacking in so many things. So we'll begin to take long and deep thoughts about what you want to country forget. And a lot of we will talk here because most of us are approaching the finish line in terms of our existence on this earth. But you look back, you look at a country that has done so much for you, you ask yourself, what can I give back? So that's why some of we, they say all that in the air. Now, we don't say you get people that will not care. And if I may just say this, I say that the last time, I will say it again. The Greeks always, and the political philosophers, them in the early years said there are three types of citizens, or there are three types of people in a country. You get, then call them the idiots, but you can call them sycophants. And then you get the other type, where then the tribalist, then you get the one that win at the citizens. The long and short of it, the sycophants or the idiots, they don't care. Today is there tomorrow. Everything goes. The ends justify the means. It's all about today. That makes up about 60 or more % of every country's population, people who are in it for themselves. Then you get the tribalists them. who are about 30, 35%, where to them, everything is, they look at them in the sense of a group, tribal group, community group, social group. That's how they look at things. And so anything we're good for the group is good for them. The last but not the least are the citizens. The Greek philosophers call them, political philosophers call them the citizens. These are the 10% who come into government and strive for make things good for everybody. So that 10% day doesn't come easy. Every country, they struggle for that 10% day, and we too are struggling for that 10%. But at the end of the day, we need a good structure for moving forward. So educationally, I still think, we are not as we should be. So I pass them over to you, sir.
Okay, now let's just round up and I say, look, we vote now. And I think after this we can interact with the audience, then it go good we conclude with our government. Now the fifth side will look at the governance. So for this bread and butter, I look at in three ways we can score them. Employment, now one. The extent to which government don't make provision for either employ people or create the enable environment for employment for tribe. When I say create the enable environment, give opportunity and incentive for let business grow so they can employ people. That's one. The next one, now food security. The government don't talk about agriculture and the availability of food supply. That angry boku, the ground dry. Yeah. Anything the government do for make sure say food, the whole supply chain from seed support to the farmer, the way they give the fertilizer, how they move the goods and the affordability. Then this final one, where you talk, now support for the small business people here, where for move the dynamics from the all man left for the market. Because we turn now all man get for the market. You break na road self na peace bridge, you didn't motoka, you get people the way they work on at least they sell you. All man get 2, 3 trade. How do we move from that? So over to you in terms of getting round up now. In terms of employment, what you go say?
Well, employment is still elusive because I go differentiate between employment and livelihood. People get livelihood more than they get employment because employment is almost non-existent in the sense that I don't know whether the actual statistic, but my guess would be in terms of actual employment, I doubt if we get more than 25% employment in the country. I think there is a massive unemployment. Everybody is there struggling, trying to make their own. Then to the extent that we get completely, I don't think we even get what you could call a middle class. You get just two classes of people, the well-off, and I wouldn't even refer to them as upper class because they are very minute, the one that will get large amount of money, and the one that will get income money, then the money and wealth acquired through corruption. So I don't lend too much credence because you cannot build a society for the people based on corruption. So the one that with extraordinary wealth, the vast majority of them earn the money through corruption. But the ones who have rarely earned the money through honest labor, they're very few and in between. And then you get the extremely poor people. I mean, extremely poor. The tin house or the pan body kind of people. Something we should even try to eliminate in the country. But now am I advocating that for get rid of, I now advocate for just get rid of pan body and not replacing it with something. We have to come up with the concept of public housing. The last time Australia get public housing, I think is over 100 or more years ago, we get low-cost housing like Kisi. Ever since we come into independence, I may be wrong, but I don't think we don't come up with low-cost housing and concept. So with that and the employment situation, because the bread and butter issue is still a struggle. Just like how you say, if not the remittances, then we to go home. Even as I'm talking to you, I have had a couple of calls. I had to do this show right now. I have had repeated calls from home. Christmas, they cannot still get nothing yet. Okay, so the people are calling because they depend on the remittances coming from abroad. But we cannot run an economy that way. And then on the bread and butter issue, I do not understand what sort of economic policy this is. And government after government in Sierra Leone, then keep raising import duty. It's the most senseless thing I've ever seen. First of all, then they raise import duty without regard to the neighboring countries' then own duty. Waiting this to do, it drive income or drive away revenue, Australian forget, because of we bordering there, Liberia and Guinea. Sierra Leoneans are shipping things to Guinea because they say it's cheaper to retrieve your shipment over there. So whatever minimal duty would pay Guinea, well, Creole and get a parable and say slow penny, quick penny better pass slow 1 shilling. You know, let me put it into this time because some people are not born and meet 1 shilling. So quick 1 Leone, better pass quick.
Well, now, Mr. Mohammed, don't put everything there. You know, let me put in the language there, Sabi. You get 1 block.
Okay. I'm not even familiar with the blocks. If I'm not familiar with blocks. Okay.
1 block at the minimum level. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this stage now.
All of on that.
Yeah. I think at this stage we get call the way they come. Let we entertain them first because we do not talk too much. Let not be saying we na just not too much show.
That's because there's a lot for talk about. But you see,
yeah.
So me just to put them in perspective, let people understand because we've got to do better and we can do better. And when we look at the Auditor General's report, there are so many areas. I mean, we are richer than we thought. It's a matter of just managing wealth. But you look at the Auditor General's report, there is a vast array of areas we can make a whole lot of money and uplift everybody. And uplift we said, I'm not advocating corruption free. I'm not advocating that we'll get angels then for run the country. You know, that would be asking too much. I understand that. But for God's sake, if you have $100 million for manage, don't steal 95 million of it. Thief a little. I will give you a break. I know I condone stealing, but if you get 100 million for the country or for your community, you take 5, you give the community 95. People are going to see the progress. But when you take 95, no progress will be seen. This is the trouble. We'll need to do away with this extraordinary greed, you know. And one important thing, what we will get for address, because we'll not get time again for address on this time, there will be the try for, we will get this major thing, maybe in the future, maybe it could be by the beginning of we next broadcast, as to whether we prefer for investigate corruption rather than put rules and regulations in place to prevent corruption. You know, that was going to be a major thing, but that will be a discussion for the future. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think if we can get some calls in and some discussion, then we'll round up with what you want of our government, because Christmas now come, Santa Claus can bring presents, but also they look forward for next year, we'll go 60 years, and what we will get. And I think at this stage, we get information, say the caller don't know. Do we have any more callers coming in? If not, let's start rounding up now.
We can round it up, yeah. We can round it up.
Okay. So in round up, so if we can vote on the bread and butter thing, Employment. How much you go give the government?
Oh, that's very poor. I think still, and it's no reflection on the government, but they need come up with better policy. I would give them 45.
45.
And this is true of all previous governments. It's nothing unique to them.
Food security?
Food security, likewise, because there is nothing that I know of, no policy where the government don't embark on where go adequately feed people in the country.
And then support for business enterprise.
Oh, that is even lower, because the small business people, the vast array of people, I would say 95% of indigenous Salonian people don't have government involvement, don't have government support in any of the business. In fact, they've been overtaxed, like import duty, because when you import something and the duty is high, that is just transferred to the people, the consumers them. So definitely, that is even lower. I would say about 35%.
Okay, fine with them. We see all the score them. Although we give the individual score, where you go in our website, the score I will not be able to repeat. But from what you see on the human rights side, government try for we small. This year we pass because of the repeal of the 1965 Act. But also we tell Papa government say we the people in a Salone, and we were to do this program. We're concerned about the way that they treat prisoners, because the human rights side, there's much to be done there. We also look about, say, okay, government don't learn lesson from them protest there. So also the other thing within the tripan where we need improvement for letting know they take soldier man na barracks for the not so soldier man for the good force law. And when people see soldier man, they feel saying a war. And we in a country where they experience war. And the generation we're in now, unfortunately, some of them, that generation will go through that war system there and then traumatized. So now boss the neck. Now that they know what they sabi. So the government self too for make sure say they not bring that psychological effect again for them. But so we still not to don't regime with anymore. So then we think say government for looking into that. When it comes to education, we talk again about we talk about government thank you for where they give free education, but as the Westman said, there's nothing like a free lunch. So none of us where government give free, the parents themselves not for come together and support. We were there out, although they know we call with Boku name, then they call with JC, some man they call with Tusim. We do a lot. Like yesterday, I participated in a school fundraising business here. We raised over £5,000 for help the school. Grammar school have been doing their own 1 week before they raised $13,000. We did try our best. Even though one of the things we'll talk about political acceptance, they're not giving you voting rights yet. They say pass you go free to go register and vote, but we will still help the country. Like me and you come out Aberdeen, and me and Fulatong are born. So there's a lot of relationship between Aberdeen and Fulatong.
Oh, yes,
and we can make one joke, say, Fulatong, starvation not really. Because also we get Sarah, cousin Sariu, Auntie Rashid, we get what you call Tuma Wampan. That togetherness. You must get Sarah and do something. Then they want to get money for tell God thank you, which are things that it's in the Bible, it's in the Quran. Where people like make sacrifice, lamb sacrifice, we get our Abraham and his son. They want to get money, when they kill sheep, they kill cow, they go up on a banana leaf, shape to all their household. So that community spirit, they like we serve now there. So education, again, the other two mentioned here, this fixation and this way, Kenemawan University, Maniwan University, even recently the president go turn Multimagai Teachers College into a technical university. MMTC has been known having the highest training institute for teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what? Why change the focus? We get the Freetown Teachers College, we get Port Local Women's College for teachers, we get Teachers College all over. Why we don't look at facilities for training with teacher and reward
college, Catholic teachers training college, plenty,
Catholic teacher. So this is something government to consider. How do we train our teachers? And how do we reward them? Well, for reward teacher, it come back to the other two talk, not just the salary no more. Let government begin to think about it, because as my brother say, we will get Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. Government has responsibility for provide houses. It did our Local Government Act 2004. This is a responsibility where it devolved to local government, but if you look at support system, for even the house they will be get set when a government house, the one a local housing and they owe it, they don't sell them back. So if a successive government, not to this government, they accuse. So if the government they provide shelter for people, then the other thing, then the other two will rob much fun. How would they manage land? So man, they go build house, you not get access road. It don't make sense. We'll get disaster. How far access them pleasantly? A problem. And my brother also talk about with forest, how they manage the forest. You know, and they will know, Mr. Remember, I talk about forest industry. We get a showroom. It didn't need electricity building. Okay. Even prison self, I remember when they make an exhibition at park. The prisoner them they make furniture. The prisoner them they make furniture within the cell. Now look at how they use we take them, not for just cut and sell and get Chinese man them, but now develop industry and value chain. And finally, with the bread and butter business, we don't talk about this. So for round up now, I will pass to you, my brother, with all lecture we don't talk, your final message to the people and the government for 2021, based on this scorecard. Because 2021, now 60 years of independence. Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. I will hope the government, if any of them or some of them listen to this broadcast or subsequently go listen to what you will say, I hope then take them in good spirit, what you would suggest, because these are just suggestions and these are just highlights that we're mentioning. I know we get this extra sensitivity about criticism, and we always view highlighting errors and mistakes by we ask a negative indicator, but that's not the intent. As I always tell people, some of we don't buy, we don't sell. We're at the end of our roads, but we know, say, we come up from a country that used to be once, like President Reagan used to say, the shining city on the hill. That's not the background that we get. And when we look at ourselves today, we're down in the valley, looking up. We're the one that say, how did we get here? And how can we get out of where we are now? Now, in that spirit, a lot of they talk about Sierra Leone, not to criticize anybody. And anyone who takes this personally, who sees it as a criticism of the government, that person, to me, is an extremely selfish person, because I will conclude and suggest that he just doesn't give a damn about ways to improve the lives of people. All he cares about but himself and in power base, because that's not the spirit with which we're saying all this. Because the potential is there. We get the ability, we get the means, we get the money, we get the brain power. Brain power is just the power is just being misdirected. So we just try for talk, say, make we redirect. Awesome ability for improving life and the lives of the people. Me just to suggest to people and for say, when you say you go into, and I'm not even directing, because corruption permeates, corruption is in the entire system, because it just become a way of life. So, corruption is not going to solve itself unless we begin to talk about issues that affect us. So if they want to within our power, Now, make I say I can even left room. This is not, but I like for give comparison. I not to say this is what I should see happen in Sierra Leone. But the former president of Gambia, Jammeh, had a system unique only to Gambia, a corruption system. He was the only one who was allowed to be corrupt. Not his ministers, nobody working for him. And he was corrupt, extremely corrupt. But Gambia prospered because he held corruption down. Okay, and not allow corruption to be the system of the day, like how Pasha Kimbi, the fire minister, them, if you're not corrupt, if you're not bringing in, I mean, we got to call a spade a spade. Pasha Kimbi fire you if you not bring money for him. In birthday, they go sack you. So Jammeh ain't do the reverse. He was the only one. And if you're a minister, you work for him, he say you build a house where you know so you're not supposed to build. If they call you in, if they go first of all go view the place in the net where you don't know, then they call you because he knew corruption was cancerous. So I'm saying not for eliminate corruption at this point, maybe not to our generation, but for try for work, make a counter move towards minimizing corruption so we go allow the country for breathe, the country for grow to its potential. So with that in mind, I hope those in power take it in good spirit and probably try for do one or two good things for the country if you never did think in this direction. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think say what we can do now, although we've been individual cause them, but we deal with 5 categories. First category with 4 main categories. The first category are human rights. I can say from all the things that we do, the average score, for human rights, the first one when the law, with the repeal, we begin 90%. The second one now where our government handle the protest them, and the last thing we land, if government doing yes small, we get 70%. But the one we get 50%, now waiting for do with how we they treat with prisoner. That means there's a lot of room for improvement. Next, when we come for education, I think say the government score high in terms of finance, we get 90%. When it comes to innovation, which is how they think for change of education dynamics, like forget in the support system for the school, innovation, like we think along the box in terms of collaborating with people in overseas and all that and bringing new skills. We trade center them, we give them 50%. The same with support system, waiting for the teacher them and everything. So also we give them 50%. There's more room for improvement there. Then we come to environment. The environment, as we say, one of the key concerns, now land, how we manage land. I don't know if you can remember, waiting to be used concept again for land in the law side.
Well, I be split them too. On the one hand, I be say up country, it seems like land management is still being well maintained along the line of the way the colonial masters and set, and the chief still has strict a lot of control. Well, the western area or the former colony, around I think land management is definitely about 45%. So okay. I don't know if we get for average.
So on average, if we average, we'll say instead of 50%.
Yeah.
Okay. So with disaster, we say again 50% for where government may not think about the institution, but they get lots of things to do. Then with forest, how we manage with forest. In terms of the industry and all the other things, them, the wood they were for use. Again, we will say on average between 50 to 60, so we'll say 55%.
Okay.
Then finally, we come from bread and butter business. One, employment is called very low. That is, I think we've been giving them about 40%. Then we get food security. This is another one we score very low back. Where I think say down there will be say 40% as well. Then the final, now support for small business. What we talk about, not small business no more. The increase in government tariff, where people go other side will export goods, support for innovation and business people. Then there's a lot of room for maneuver.
Oh yeah.
We also give 50%. So now we score down there for government. And what we want to say is that the one way we see them score low so, now for tell the government and say with the different components say we're ready for work with them. We're ready in the diaspora. We're ready for work with them. Sierra Leone is endowed with skills. We get beaucoup what you can call like Creole Master Sabi people. In fact, they've been doing a survey recently where they say, but all the African then, the Salone man, he sends you again ahead. He passed all of the African.
I see that somewhere.
But why now? We already out and we're inside Salone. We get all their sense, Maya, their Master Sabi people. We're not able to use their sense here for Apple country. And for quote one former president, Shaka Stevens, now I tell you say, now sense make book. Not your book make sense. And when you quote that, now this obsession, what they say, first you be doctor, now if you occupy a particular position. You get beaucoup money. You get beaucoup people left. And do you what you know bring them again for closing remarks? I know saying that government they discuss now. Now where government can say they want change with local government say if you want to be mayor or chairman, you can forget degree. Or if you want to be councillor, you can forget what's scared. So that just show the thinking. Now begin value people them for what they can bring. This government now say one country, one people. So now we'll look into that spirit. And that's the final one, and it's called, and the people them are glad in how they listen. I don't think so. We don't talk enough, me and my brother. From different experience and different age, I think we combine age on average. If you take with two age together, it pass 100 years since now don't use it.
Oh, for sure.
And we're not charging now. We left legacy for now. So now me, they say, Tata.
Same here. Good night, everybody. Wish you a happy new year. Merry Christmas. Looking forward to us getting together next year and talk about issues of concern, of common interest. So, Tata also. Take care.
Why do a website when you can create an app for your business for free? Yes, with TAV App Maker, you can make an app as easy as pie. It only takes a few minutes. Simply choose a design template you like, add the features you want, and once you are happy with the results, publish it to Google Play and Apple Store. So your clients can download your app. Go to TAVAppmaker.com and create your free app today. Why do a website when you can create an app for your business for free? Yes, with TAV App Maker, you can make an app as easy as pie. It only takes a few minutes. Simply choose a design template you like, add the features you want, and once you are happy with the results, publish it to Google Play and Apple Store, so your clients can download your app. Go to tavappmaker.com and create your free app today.
say, if we come together now, everything